Hello, my name is Mariah, and this is Literary Fix. It's going to be a long one, so if you need to, pause this, go grab a drink, grab a snack, get some comfy clothes on. We're going to be here for a minute. I'm excited to say that this video is my fall end of year TBR and a book haul, because why not? I will be going through my fall TBR or end of year books, and this is just basically the books that I plan to read, hopefully plan to read from now until the end of the year, but the goal is to get through these books, and I'm excited. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these books. I'm just going to say a couple of words, because again, I don't know a lot about these, so as I read them, we'll go along, and then I will show you the books that I got this weekend, and I'm super excited about that part. Alright, so the first book on my fall TBR is Starling House. The most that I know about this is a gothic fantasy. Sign me up. It's centered around Opal and the mysterious house of Starling House, and her trying to figure out what's wrong with it. There is supposed to be like high intensity, like action, fantasy. The next book is You've Reached Sam, and this is a tragic love story. I have seen so many people read this and cry their eyes out, and I figured why not torment myself so I can feel that way too. The next book is 7-Year Time Slip. This is a romance. I have been recommended to read this book I don't know how many times. The next book is To Kill a Kingdom. It is a Little Mermaid retelling, but it's a YA fantasy. She is at war with the human race. Say no more. I'm super stoked about this book. The next book is GodKiller. I read the synopsis of this. It is a world where gods are not welcome. People have been killing gods, and the main character in this is tasked in killing a god, but the god is connected to a little girl by her soul. And so you follow her in this journey of trying to help this little girl get rid of this god, and they're pursued by assassins and killers, and it's just high intensity. And you're probably wondering, Mariah, these all look like very popular books. Yes, those are very popular books. I promise that not all of the books that I have on my TBR are popular books. Some of them are books that have been on my shelf for years. So part of this TBR is to get through that. Now's the time to do it. The second book is Visitation Street. I have had this on my shelf for a very long time. From what I could tell, you're basically following these two girls who end up being washed out to sea. One dies in a mysterious accident, and the other comes back to shore, and you're following her and a bunch of other people trying to figure out what happened to her. The next book is Girl in the Blue Coat. This is a historical retelling. I've had this on my bookshelf for years as well, so it needs to be read. This next book was recommended to me by a friend. I've had this on my shelf for a little while now, and I've been planning to get around to it, but if you've heard anything about Leigh Bardugo, then you've heard about The Ninth House. I am stoked about this one. Keywords here: dark magic, murder, power, privilege, elite. What could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? The next book is The Keeper of the Night. I just recently bought this, and I didn't know much about it. I fell for the cover. You will notice that most of the books that I buy based off the cover. But the words that got me was Japanese folklore, reaper, death, proving oneself, trying to make it in the world. I just recently read my first T. Kingfisher, and I will say I love her writing. She does a lot of retellings, and I love a good retelling with a plot twist. The one that I just recently read was What Moves the Dead. That one was a mind twister. Like, I was so confused and enthralled and just needing to know more answers. It was a short book, so I got through it very quickly. But the second one is Nettle Bone. This is a retelling. I don't know exactly what the retelling of it is, but I've heard wonderful things about this, and if anything T. Kingfisher publishes, I'm probably just going to read. I mean, I don't even know what it's about, but I'm going to read it. She has become my favorite writer. Now, some of these have books that I've picked for my TBR have murder in them, but I've been trying to kind of expand my horizon of genres, so I picked up Lock Every Door. I will be honest, Halloween, spooky season, is my favorite time of year. I love it. I love haunted houses. I love all that. The only thing I can't do is scary movies. I can't do jump scares. I scare super easily. Why not read a scary book? Because I'm not going to have things jumping out at me. They might give me nightmares. Lock Every Door. Thriller, suspense. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for all these books. I'm just going to say that. I'm excited for all of them until I give you my actual, like, oh, I don't know if I really like that book or not. So, the next book is WayWard. This has witches, time skips. You're getting 3 different people's POVs. Perfect for the spooky season. The other books I do not have actual physical copies of. These are all on my Kindle, but the one that I'm currently in the middle of is Two Twisted Crowns. This series, it's not even a series. It's a duology. 2 books. One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. I am loving. I loved the first book. I ate it up. I had to devour everything because it was so confusing at first, but then everything started to click, and then it was just like boom, 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 boom. It was like hit you right in the fantasy feels, and I devoured it. So I'm currently in the middle of Two Twisted Crowns. This one you're following along with the other main character, and then 2 other point of views, and it is getting good. The other book that I plan to read is QuickSilver. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I figured why not, because to me, girl math, as long as I'm reading 2 books, anything after that is free. Makes sense in my head. So QuickSilver is definitely one of those. It's a fae, fantasy, romance. So the other book is The Silent Patient. I don't know much about this book, but I do know the keywords. Psychological thriller. I've never read a psychological thriller before, but this one kind of piqued my interest. It's a woman's act of violence against her husband, and I kind of got curious. So a lot of these books are based off of curiosity from the book covers and a little bit of the synopsis. The other book is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This one, vampires, romance, Hunger Games. I mean, what more could you want in a book, right? But that is so far the books that I plan to read from now until the end of the year. I will be making reading vlogs of me reading these books and kind of giving you no spoiler reviews and my thoughts on the book as I finish them. So again, if I've misdiagnosed, we're just going to say misdiagnosed these books from the beginning, as I read them, I will correct myself and explain exactly what these books are. But now for the really fun part, my book haul. I'm going to be very honest with you. Most of the books on my shelves were not bought brand new. I am a penny pincher. I like a good deal on a book. My biggest thing is they are just trophies for me. And yes, I do spend money on the books that I really do love. But if it's a book I've never heard before, or like a book that I'm not sure I want to spend a bunch of money on and I can get it secondhand, or I can buy it from, a third party, then I will. And I buy a lot of my books off of Facebook Marketplace, our local bookstore, McKay's, or even thriftbooks.com. That is where I get most of my books. If not, I get them from Barnes & Noble, or I'll buy them on Amazon. I will try my best to get a cheap book. And then if I really love it and I want to get a better, conditioned book, like a brand new book, then I'll go and buy that and get rid of my other one so somebody else can read it. One of these book hauls is from McKay's. I got 9 books from McKay's, and then the other one I got 14 books off of Facebook Marketplace, and the lady that I bought them off of was the sweetest person, and they are in pretty good condition for the most part. I don't know where I'm going to add them on my bookshelf. I'm probably going to have to buy another bookshelf, but that's besides the point. We are just going to get on with it. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the first one I'm going to do is my Facebook Marketplace. This is a steal. I got 14 books for $55. So the first one is a book that I have read, which is the Song of Achilles. I loved this book. I listened to it on audio at work, and this was such a good book. I'd never heard of I heard bits and pieces of the Song of Achilles, like the Greek mythology, but this was such a good book. I cried at the end, teared up a little bit. I couldn't cry fully at work because I didn't want people to look at me like I was crazy. I did tear up a little bit because the ending of this was it was a happy sad. But this was a very good book. But yeah, I mean, great condition. Loved it. I have to redo that because my mic died halfway through that. So the second book is Where the Crawdads Sing. Now I know I have watched the movie for this 2 times now, and they always say that the books are better than the movies, and I am really hoping that the book is as good as the movie, because the movie was very good. So I figured, why not get the book? It's in great condition. I mean, look at this. Okay, and the next book is LegendBorn. I have seen this all over Book Talk, BookTube, anywhere that they sell books. This has been at the top of the list. It's a YA fantasy. I mean, you can't go wrong with a good cover. So I had to get it. This next book, I know nothing about. If He Had Been With Me. The only thing that I really know about this book is I've seen videos of girls sobbing, like hardcore sobbing. And I don't know if you've noticed a theme so far with some of the books that I've picked. I want to feel something. Why not do it with a book? I love crying. It's a good, stress relief. I don't cry very often unless I'm reading a good book or I'm watching a sad movie. I don't know the premise of it. I just know that it has made people sob, and I want to sob. Is that endangerment to myself? I don't know. Who knows? But, we're just going to go with it. The next couple of books are actually a trilogy. I honestly feel like I robbed this woman when she had these books because they're hardback and they're in like pristine condition. Like, I kind of feel like I stole from her, but it is what it is. Anyways, the books that I'm talking about are the Cruel Prince series. Like I said, all 3, all in hardback. Super excited to add this to my shelf. The Cruel Prince. When I think of enemies to lovers, this book is what I mean by enemies to lovers. I'm not talking about, oh, we're like rivals in a chess game, or we're rivals at work, and like, I don't really hate you, but I don't like that you're my competition. No, when I think of like enemies to lovers, I'm thinking of this. Like, they absolutely hate each other. They try to kill each other. They literally want nothing to do with each other. They bully each other. I don't condone that, okay? Only in books, when it's not real. But if you've not read this series, you need to. I loved this series. I think, honestly, out of all of these, the best one was the last one. Like I said, I really feel like I robbed this woman. So if you're watching this, thank you so much. The next one is the duology. This is Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. When I seen that she had these in the original OG covers, well, I don't know if these are the original OGs, but these are the ones before they put the real people on the covers, I had to get them. But basically the premise is pirates, mermaids, like, think of Pirates of the Caribbean, but in books. The next series is a very big series. This is the Red Queen series. Okay, I was excited when I seen that she had the entire series, but I've heard very good things about this, and people who said that they've read Powerless also think that people should read Red Queen. So I actually have the collector's edition of Red Queen, and I only have the first book in the collection of Red Queen. That is it. And my regret is that now, if I like the series, I have to buy them all in the collector's edition. But if I like it and if I love the series, then I will totally buy the collector's editions. I'm totally cool with that. I got 9 books from McKay. First book is Wilder Girls. This is a book about girls who were brought to an island, told to stay there, and then the apocalypse happens. And so now it's just a book about girls by themselves on an island trying to survive. So, alright, the next book is Eleanor Park. I feel like this has been on my Goodreads TBR for a hot minute, and this was a very popular book at the time that it was released. I have not read it, but it is a romance. Next book is By Any Other Name. An editor, a romance editor, and she's like in a relationship, and then she goes to work for a famous romance author, and something happens, and she has to help a romance man make a romance book with his writer's block after she's been dumped or something like that. I don't know, but this is a romance. It's supposed to be funny. It's a small little book. Picked it up. I had to. I'm not becoming a romance girly. I like fantasy. I like YA fantasy. I do like thrillers. But the romance is a good brain break for when you're in between those fantasy books. So a lot of times when I listen to audiobooks, I will listen to romance books because it gives me a break in between reading my fantasy books. So I'm not having to like remember names and what kind of magic does what. So it's a little bit of a brain break for me. That's why I enjoy romances. The next book I bought because the cover was just, I mean, this is such a pretty cover, okay? It's The Cemetery of Untold Stories. I cannot explain enough how bad of a person I am to just buy a book based off of the cover. Even if I don't know whether it's good or not, I don't know what it's about. I'm a fiend for a good cover, okay? This is the line that sold me on the book. We are reminded that stories have the power to bring us together. That was a line. And I couldn't say no, so I grabbed it. The next book, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like a part of the Hazelwood series or if Hazelwood is a series, but I have the Hazelwood on my shelf. I haven't read it yet, but I bought it. And then I seen this, and this is The Night Country, and it says a Hazelwood novel. So I figured you do what you gotta do. I need to give Emily Henry a chance. So I bought Beach Read. My other friend recommended it, so I'm gonna try it. Because why not? Allie Hazelwood does a remarkably good job on romance books. Love on the Brain. Or Brain Break. It just worked out that way, okay? It is a little beat up, but you know what? It was in someone's hands that loved it, read it, and decided to give it away. And I took it. I didn't take it. I bought it. I promise. Yeah, next book is The Queen of Hearts. And you're probably thinking that this book is a Queen of Hearts retelling. It's not. It's about 2 girls who are friends who are surgeons. Yeah, one's a trauma surgeon and one's a pediatric cardiologist. They're really good friends until a secret may end up tearing them apart. I mainly bought it on the cover, but the synopsis of it did sound interesting. I was like, ooh, 2 friends who break up because of a secret. How bad is this secret? Like, I need to know what the secret is. This is the problem. It says right here, it takes only 1 secret to sever a friendship. What secret is so bad that you have to sever a friendship? I need to know. I'm a curious little kitten, okay? I'm very curious. That's my problem. That's why I can't DNF books, okay? I can't. Next book I had to look up the pronunciation on because I didn't even know how to say it. Ariadne. There are 4 words on the back of this. Sister, lover, traitor, hero. That's all I needed to read. That's all I needed to see. Those 4 words. And it hooked me. Also, the cover's really pretty. Anyways, so that is the wrap up of my end of year TBR and my book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I didn't go into too much detail about each and every book, but like I said, I will put a list of the books down below so you can see quick summary so you don't have to go back and, search each and every book. But I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found your next book recommendation. And until next time, guys, bye!